Okay, student, today we are going to start history, the fourth chapter, the rise of nationalism in Europe. Today we are going to study the rise of nationalism in Europe. Rise of nationalism in Europe. Rise of nationalism in Europe. See, as you all know, in class 9th, we have studied the French Revolution. French Revolution was the beginning of nationalism. The sense of collective identities. It was first brought by French people. The French Revolution occurred in 1789. In 1789, till 1789, the government in France was monarchy. What type of government it was? Monarchy. And Louis XVI was the king. Louis XVI was overthrown by the people, liberal nationalists who revolted against the government. And in 1791, France became a constitutional monarch. Constitution was drafted. Certain section of peoples were given the right to vote. Political rights were given to the certain people. You know, they were called active citizens. Male above 21 was given a political rights. Not all male. Those male who paid 3 days labor as a taxes were given the status of active citizens. Women, landless, peasants, they were all given the status of passive citizens. Passive citizens did not have political rights. Now, again we see that there was a change in the government. In 1793, Republican government, France became republic, and Max Malling, in the leadership of Max Malling Robespierre. We see shortened chains during French Revolution. We see how do the people get together. They took certain steps. Steps were taken. Certain steps were taken. Okay, let's first start with that only. Steps taken by the French people, by the French, in order to bring the sense of collective identities. Sense of collective identities. Okay, let's see what were the steps taken by the French people in order to bring the sense of collective identities. लोगों के बीच एकजुटता की भावना लाने के लिए फ्रेंच लोगों के द्वारा क्या कदम उठाया गया, रेवोल्यूशनरीज लोग के द्वारा क्या कदम उठाया गया. फर्स्ट, tricolour flag was chosen in place of replacing the royal standard. Second, hymns were composed, martyrs commemorated, all in the name of nation. They composed the hymns, the hymns Marseillaise, which became the national anthem of France. Custom duties were abolished. Weight and measurement system was adopted. Regional dialects were discouraged. And French, as it was spoken and written in Paris, became the common language of the French. भाई रीजनल डायलेक्ट सब कुछ क्या कर दिया गया, हटा दिया गया, ये क्षेत्रीय भाषा सब हटा दिया गया। फ्रेंच में बोली जाती थी या पेरिस में लिखी जाती थी, ये नेशनल लैंग्वेज बना दिया गया। Every citizens were given equal rights under constitutions. These were some of the steps that were taken by the French people to bring the sense of collective identities among them. So, what were the steps? Let's see what were the steps. I would like to repeat again. First, a tricolor flag was chosen in order to replace the royal standard. Second, hymns were composed, martyrs commemorated, all in the name of nation. Third, custom duties were abolished, weight and measurement system was adopted. Regional dialects were discouraged, as it was spoken in France and written in Paris became the common language of the nation. Everyone was given equal rights under constitution. These were some of the steps that were taken by the French people. Now what happened that in 1804 Napoleon came into power. Napoleon crowned himself as the Emperor of France. And he introduced some administrative measures which made him very popular. He not only just conquered Europe, French, but he conquered rest part of the Europe also, just because of his administrative policies. Now, second question we'll discuss. What were the administrative policies? Napoleon administrative policy that made him popular. What were the administrative changes brought by Napoleon, because of which he became popular? First, his Napoleonic Code. Napoleonic Code is also known as the Civil Code of 1804. Did away all privilege by birth, gave right to property to everyone by birth. He took away all the privilege that people used to enjoy, like church used to enjoy, a certain section of the upper classes which to enjoy. This type of privilege was taken away. And he expanded these administrative policies to the rest of the Europe also, which came under French. He introduced weight and measurement system, which was enjoyed by businessmen. Guild restriction was removed. Peasants and farmers were freed from monarchical dues and feudal dues. These were some of the steps, administrative policies introduced by Napoleon, which made him very popular. One, his Napoleonic Code, that the Civil Code of 1804, did away all privilege by birth. जितने भी जन्म से अधिकार दिए गए थे, विशेष अधिकार दिए गए थे वर्गों को, वो हटा दिया गया. Right to property was assured. Everyone was given right to property. Everyone was equality before law. Was also equality before law. Was also everyone was equal before law. This was the three things that came under Civil Code of 1804. Guild restrictions were removed. Currencies were introduced. Weight and measurement system was adopted. These all made him popular. Now, what were the administrative policies that made him unpopular? Why did Napoleon reign collapsed? Just because of his administrative policies only. First, he introduced censorship. Second, he forced recruitment in army to the French people. He increased taxations, and this all led to the ruin of his empire. I talked about 3 points. First, he increased taxation. Second, he introduced censorship. And third, he forced recruitment in French army to the French people. जबरदस्ती सेना में भर्ती किया. And this all led to the collapse of the Napoleon Empire. Okay, we have discussed 3 things. Steps taken by the French in order to bring the sense of collective identities. Second, Napoleonic administrative policies that made him popular. And one more, Napoleon administrative policy that made him unpopular. Rest we'll discuss in later classes.